Hey everybody, welcome back to the Visual Historian Podcast. Straight out of New Orleans, baby. I am busy boy, busy photographer. But I am also recently back from the PodFest seminar convention thingy in Florida that I was invited to. And thank you so much for Buzzsprout for supplying me with a creator pass, which gave me all the doors open to visit all of the speakers, get as much beautiful knowledge and info as I can. And let me tell you, I didn't know if I was going to go because, come on, whenever you go out of town, like easily with food, travel, stay, like you name it, you're going to spend $1,000. If you're going somewhere for 3 to 4 days, like that's just cost of breathing. You know what I'm saying? It was absolutely worth it. I'm so glad I did. And my daughter lives in Florida, so I was able to take over her couch for a couple days. So thank you, my dear Julia, and her roommate. Absolutely beautiful apartment they have. My daughter Julia works at Disney World and at Universal, and she's living her life. She's doing her thing, and I was able to stay there, spend some time with her, and then go ahead and drive over to the hotel. Buzzsprout is who hosts my podcast, and they were nice enough to send me a creator pass to go to this beautiful thing called PodFest, and I got to meet the people at Buzzsprout. They're amazing. When I tell you so many people that went, this was, I believe, PodFest's 12th year, and from where they started to where they are now, it is becoming something big. And I really believe that you're going to start hearing more about PodFest in the very near future, just because they're doing something very smart. So I want you to imagine this. You go to a hotel, you go to the main ballroom, okay? And there's the registration desk, and you have your many rooms of speakers at certain times on certain subjects. Now, since PodFest has grown to as big as they are right now, they have many more speakers in rooms and topics you want to see. But the cool thing is they have the app, the WOVA app, Whoova, I don't know how you say it, but it's an application app, and it's really neat because the whole itinerary is on there. And the part that I liked about the app, to be honest, is the fact that I can see the full schedule on one tab. Okay. And on the right-hand side, you say My Agenda. So when you saw something you liked, you can say, click, add to my agenda. Click, yes, remind me 30 minutes before this happens, or 10 minutes before. This is fantastic. I did not use the notes section on the app just because that's why I brought my laptop and everything's more organized in front of me and larger. But it was great. It was absolutely great. And the people over at PodFest, I just want to thank them for putting on such a huge educational seminar. And this is what I'm going to bleed into today with this episode, is because even though I was there for my podcast and I wanted to learn how to make it a business, how to monetize it, how to get further reach, dig more into the podcast SEO, what's working on social media, what's not, what AI programs are helpful, yada. So many of these things apply to my photography business as well, because it's just the world that we all live in right now. We're all sharing this social media space, the social media world of TikTok and Instagram stories and reels and everything. It's how we're communicating. So everybody's doing it. Everybody's on it. So if you are in business like me for 31 years, you need to learn a lot more about the present day of how your new clients are shopping. And if you're not where they are shopping, they don't know about you. And it doesn't mean they don't like you. They literally don't know about you. So, everybody in their 30s and younger knows this because they grew up with this. They grew up with social media with Facebook, and you know what I mean? Like, they don't know any different. Us older cats, or having to, step your foot into the end of the pool that might be a little deep for you. Well, guess what? Hire somebody young enough to do it for you in your business. You will not be disappointed. Okay. That's all I can tell you. I had the blessing that I grew up on computers. So I've always been tech savvy. I've always been the tech guy in the house. I love technology. Everything from my YouTube channel to everything I do for my business, it's just fun for me. It's a lot of work, but it's also fun for me. And I do like it better when all of this technology works more easily in your favor. Then technology is amazing. When it doesn't work, it's a super pain in the butt. I don't like teching all kind of stuff that isn't working at the house, like when the router goes down on the Wi-Fi, or you've got something wrong with the computer, and you got to fix it. You got a drive problem. It's like all of those things are not really my jam. But I do know how to mess with them and work around them and find a solution. So I just want to really hit a nerve with anybody who's listening to this podcast that is in business, or you're starting a business, or even if you're just trying to get more exposure for whatever it is you're doing. If you have an Etsy page, if you're a creative person and you're like, man, how can I get more eyes on me, on my Etsy page, on whatever it is, you really, really, really need to dig into basically everything you don't want to dig into. I know you don't have the patience for TikTok. I know you seriously don't want to be in front of the camera. That's fine. There's other ways. Just go to YouTube and do a search, do a deep dive, and just learn. There's so many people that I know that are successful doing only 2 platforms because it works for them. I'm kind of thinking of doing the same thing. It's like you've got the Facebook. That's what I call it, the Facebook. Wasn't it originally called the Facebook and they dropped the? I believe that's true. You've got your Facebook crowd that everybody's on. Then you have your other kind of crowd that's on Instagram, younger, with stories and that. The reels and all kind of bleeds into sharing it with the TikTok genre. But one thing that I've not so much learned about, it's just I didn't think about this one piece of social media maybe as much as I should have. So I'm telling you this now. Pinterest. They talked so much about Pinterest on how people are using it. I've been on Pinterest. I have a page. I do not keep it up. I do not do all the things just because, a couple of years back when we were on it, I wasn't seeing results. Everybody likes, doing an ad, spending money on marketing when they can see the results. And when they see the results, they spend more time, they spend more money, which kind of validates the reason why you're doing that. So I perfectly get it. When you think about Pinterest and you're like, I'm not getting on that. Well, don't blow it off so quick. That's all I can tell you. I need to go do my own deep dive on the notes that I took from the speakers who were talking about how they use Pinterest, how they're using the pins, how SEO works via all these things. And shame on me for not, acquiring the knowledge that I went all the way to Florida to learn. So I'm very excited. This year has started off to be a wonderful, wonderful new year for me and all of my friends, honestly, in New Orleans. Our entire event industry seems to be picking up, and that's great. We're all sick and tired of dealing with the remnants of COVID 2020. That was a huge year of a punching bag for this city. And, when when tourism is down, when big businesses don't come, everybody feels it, not just one little line of people, everybody feels it, from the restaurants to the hotels, to the planners, to the florists, to me, photography, videographers. I mean, the venues themselves, the people who do all of the second line bands and stuff. It's like everybody feels the ripple. New Orleans is small enough to where that's just how it rolls around here. So when we have a hurricane, we're also small enough to where we help each other immediately and we can come back a little quicker. Now, of course, you have big storms like Katrina and Ida that happened a couple years ago, the Laplace area. I'm not sure if they have fully come back from Ida. It's just a whole slew of things that is the result of a hurricane, from supplies not being available, from wood being so much more expensive because the demand is so high, but the supply is not. Blah, 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 blah. It's just not something we feel like dealing with, y'all. So even though we would rather a hurricane than tornadoes, like my buddies and my friends over there in Oklahoma, we don't have storm shelters like that. And hurricanes are kind of cool. You can kind of look at it like, something's out there. Gets a little closer. Okay, in 5 days, this could be a category 5. And you're like, okay, let's make some plans on getting out of here. And you start calling around hotels, 5 hours away. And you can book a hotel and cancel it, which is wonderful. But we get a little heads up, which is nice. So anyway, we have our amazing Mardi Gras season lineup. It's getting ready to kick into full gear, big time. And this city is just, we evolve around parties. We love to celebrate life. You have to give everybody a lot of credit over the last 100 years that eventually started Jazz Fest. It was a little bitty thing. I think it was by Congo Square. I think it was. I could be wrong on this. You can't fact check me. But it was so small and now it's so huge. Like Mardi Gras was small with some floats to celebrate. Now look where it is now. It's like you can take any small idea and make it big if over the years more people believe in the whole aspect of what you created. And man, once you get a city behind something, then it just becomes historical. It becomes culture. Mardi Gras is 100% our culture. And just so you know, everybody who comes to New Orleans, all of you beautiful, wonderful tourists, we love having you here. But just know, Mardi Gras season is when we do the beads and all that cool stuff. We do not drive around with beads hanging from our mirror like in the 80s, like from a rock band or something. We do not wear beads when we go out somewhere. The Mardi Gras stuff has a time and a place, and that's when we blow it all out and then we let it all go. But I love it when I see people come in town and, they do get the beads when they're at a function and they're on the balcony on Bourbon Street. And it's okay in certain areas of Bourbon Street where they can toss to the people, because it's not in every hotel, by the way. So it's really fun to be around. And it's so awesome for me when these corporate events will come in town. I had a corporate event maybe 10 years ago. It was some software tech company. And I go downtown, I'm over by the Superdome. Everybody's lining up for this thing. Now, keep in mind, the second line parade is normally, 30 people, 40 people, jazz bands in the front leading, This was more like a Mardi Gras parade getting ready to start. Somebody, the leader of the company had an elephant shipped in to ride. They wanted to ride an elephant. And I was like, this is a first. And I'm not lying. Since that event, I have not seen an elephant walking down Canal Street. That was the coolest and the most extravagant thing I've seen in a long time. I remember this vividly because the owner of the company wanted to wear the Google glasses when they were brand new, and of course, because they were new, they had connection problems and they couldn't get it working. But she still rode that elephant on that parade, which was, 2 miles long. Very, very, very cool. But every time I have a second line to go capture, to run around the street and get everybody, get all the angles, it's a small workout. I personally never really honestly get bored with them because it's a human experience. And people on the sides of the street watching, participating, yelling. They're so happy they're seeing this in front of them. So many people are like, what are we seeing right now? What is going on? We're from, Detroit in for a cousin's wedding, and we're at the hotel. We were walking down the street just to get some food, and now we're being stopped. We can't cross the street because the cops have it blocked off, and here comes the elephant. Oh my God. If you were in town and saw the elephant, congratulations. It has not happened since. So good for you. Oh man, if I knew where all the clapping on this Rodecaster Duo 2 that I really do like. This thing is so cool. Applause. Here we go. Yeah. There you go. I have to get used to using these pads a little bit easier. But I tell you what, man, nothing is more impressive to me than to see people react to scenarios, and a lot of times I am the paid photographer at these events, whether it's your wedding, whether it's a corporate event with the elephant on Canal Street, I am paid to capture everybody else there. So how cool is that to be able to have the freedom to do so and feel good about it? You know what I'm saying? Like the paparazzi in LA, I cringe over the paparazzi thing. It's not part of our culture, so I just don't know, anything about it. But it seems like it's more invasive on people's personal space because they don't know they're being photographed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm not sure I would feel good about a whole mass of people following me everywhere I went somewhere. Like, people back off. But that's just me. So this is different. People are there to celebrate. They're there to have a good time. I'm there to catch all the emotions. And it's just cool. I love this photography life that I have. If you are getting started in this business, you are going to be blown away as the years go on. And you keep on having newer experiences. Just when you think you saw it all, something else new is going to happen. Trust me on this. I stopped saying I saw it all a long time ago because the elephant scenario, in my 31 years, that was the first time I've ever seen an elephant in a second line band, which was more like a parade because they did have the double floats from Kern over at Mardi Gras World. So this tech company spent some big dollars for their 1,200 people that attended were all able to ride double-decker floats and just enjoy our city. It was just really cool, dude. So anyway, speaking of podcasting, I just want to talk really quick about the reason why I'm doing a podcast is, one, I have so many stories to share with people. But honest to God, I have more inspirational stuff to share and help with you than anything. It's not really about me sharing my stories. It's more of, I want to help you. I want to be able to share some advice, some life lessons that you're going to go through or you have gone through, or maybe you're going through these things right now. And how cool would it be to put a podcast on that can help you with one of your issues or your problems? That's what I want to do. I love this industry, but it is a business. And there's many parts of the business that you need to consider if you want to make your photography career, a business. You want to provide for your family, or is this something you're doing on the side? You've got your regular, W-2 job, and you're working somewhere and you have a great career doing that. But hey, I like doing weddings on the weekends. There's still a lot of liability and insurance and fraud. There's still things that you need to know and learn about. So I am not only going to have just me, I'm also going to have a guest on. Now, I got to be honest with you. This week, this is what, January 22, 2026. After next week, I get cray busy with a lot of commercial events, long days, 4 days at a time. So I'm not sure how consistent I can do an actual podcast, but my goal in life is to give you one on Monday, give you one on Thursday. The one on Monday is going to be me doing what I'm doing today for you. And the one on Thursday is going to be a guest. And the guest can be any other creative person that's in business because we share the same goals, the same marketing strategies. You know, once I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a florist, and we were talking everything from politics to, you know, these tariffs, how it's affecting his order shipping. It's happening and it's affecting his clients' prices. He's having to raise things because of this and that. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I was trying to get something for my DJI, device, and I can't even get it for like 2 months because of the tariffs and the backlog and blah, blah, blah. And then we'll switch gears on to talking about marketing. Like, how are you getting in front of people, dude? And the funny thing is we both start talking about a lot of the same things and same ways of how we're getting in front of people. And the cool thing is every once in a while, he has an idea I didn't think of and vice versa. So I have a lot of friends here in New Orleans that do many different things. And I can't wait to get them on here and they can share their own stories, their own successes, their own failures, the stumbles. How do they recover? To me, I wish this podcast would have existed when I was younger. I had so many questions that I just could not get answers to, or I just didn't have the balls to ask somebody else in business because it felt embarrassing. I didn't want to be the younger photographer with these questions that seemed so lame. It would just be more embarrassing than not, which leads me to a recent TikTok I did just do a couple of weeks ago. I got a phone call one day. I'm sitting on the sofa. I got my laptop in my lap, and my phone will tell me if it's spam or not. It's usually 85% correct on this is spam. And it set a number from, I don't know, like an hour plus away. And I'm like, is this spam? Is this a client? Let me answer it. So I did. It wound up being a young girl. I don't know how young. I'm not sure if she was teens or early 20s. I couldn't tell you. But she told me she was a photographer based out of, Lafayette, which is an hour and a half, if not longer. She had a headshot question. She goes, my friend or brother. This is terrible that I'm forgetting exactly word for word. I made the TikTok like the day after it happened. So my TikTok, go ahead and find it. It's much more clear. But basically, she called me out of the blue to ask me photography questions on doing a headshot over here. And I was like, now, keep in mind, I would imagine that the first reaction to most people in business is to hang up on her, or to maybe be a little condescending. I don't know. I enjoy teaching. I love to teach photography. There are so many things that I've learned over the years, and being able to share that with somebody, it just feels good, So every question she had, I gave her the answers to. I helped her, and I'm like, usually when I have a client call me, say they're a law firm, I'll schedule a walkthrough day that I'll go visit just to say hi. Let me see what I'm dealing with. Let me see the grounds, let me see the area. Let me see the lighting. Are there windows that I'm going to have to be messing with? Do you have a room you're going to put me in for these headshots? Like, I like doing a walkthrough. It helps me clear my head. I can create a game plan. I can tell them what is best. And can I tell you, that has been my secret sauce for the past 20 years that I've been doing a lot of commercial work. People respect the mess out of you when you care, And it's not just for me. It's because I want them to have the best results I can do for you. So let me just go stop by, man. And I got to say, New Orleans is small enough to where I can get to anywhere within 30 minutes. Pretty much anywhere, unless you're in Slidell or Baton Rouge. And of course, that's an hour. But, it's not out of reach. And it's a wonderful, wonderful service that I do for a lot of people. And it definitely helped me with my own business. Like, I was driving home from seeing this location already, in my brain, knowing what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, what I was going to bring, how many lights I needed. It was great. So when the shoot day came, I wasn't freaking out, like quickly running around trying to find a spot, or, oh my God, they thought this room was great. I got nothing but glass windows, and that's where the sun comes up, blazing through the window glass. Like, what? Those instances is because I've had them before. And this was my solution to never having those situations ever again. Just do a quick walkthrough, man. You know, if I cannot, for whatever reason, maybe they call me last minute and I can't do a walkthrough, I always go visit their website. Sometimes I'll go to Google Maps and just see the area. And I know this sounds crazy, but, you know, it's very important to me when you tell me I want to take a group shot outside with our logo on the building. My first question is, does that entranceway where you want to put the group, is the sun hitting your face or not at this time or this time? Because every once in a blue moon, they're like, oh, you know, it's hard to get everybody together, so we could only do, 8 a.m. And the sun comes up and hits us in the face. And I'm like, I get it. You got 60 people. They're all meeting there for some meeting. And that's when you're going to do it. I'm going, but can everybody wear sunglasses? He's like, no. I'm like, well, they're going to be a lot of squinties. And he's like, that's okay. We just need people in the group. I'm like, okay, well, I can make that happen for you. I said, however, if you wait till the afternoon, I can create something amazing for you. He says, yeah, but getting 60 people here at 4 p.m, it's not going to happen. So anyway, this young lady was so happy that I was even answering her questions and I was giving her some advice. And I was like, look, can they meet you like at City Park or something? I mean, do you have to go inside their building? And, if they do, then ask for the room or a room, or can they just do a walkthrough with their phone maybe and just kind of give you an idea of what you're dealing with? And if you can do outside, then, do end of the day. Don't worry about a certain background. You want the background to just fall away from your subjects. Like, they are the most important thing, not this wall, not this building. Like, find a spot where it's just beautiful color from the sunlight falling behind you guys and go from there. She mentioned she had flashes on stands to use. And I was like, okay. So I helped her out. To my dismay, to my surprise, she's like, man, thank you so much for answering my questions. If anybody over here needs a photographer in your direction, I am 100% always going to refer you. I mean, I almost teared up. I'm like, thank you. I really appreciate that. But I really, honest to God, love what I do. And I want you to love it as much as I do. And the only way you're going to love it as much as I do is to continually keep having success. So if I'm some dude that helped you with one little speed bump, cool. I'm totally cool with that, man. So whenever you're on Threads or some post on Facebook or wherever it is, when people are dissing, older photographers, or they keep on, what's the word? I'm so tired of this word. Can y'all do me a favor? Whenever you see this word somewhere, I need you to throw it back at them somehow, or just kind of do the emoji with the throwing up. Like, that's an old word that has been overused. Gatekeeping. It's these older guys, they just gatekeep. They don't share their info. If you ever when you see the word, because trust me, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. When you see the word gatekeeping, I need you to call them out on it. Please do the vomit emoji and say, ew, that word is now so overplayed. Like, find a new word, man. There's an entire thesaurus out there. Find another word. I am not a gatekeeper. I never have. But at the same time, you also need to be respectful to other people and not just think about your damn self. What are we? All 8 years old asking questions? Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you an answer. Nobody has to do a damn thing, dude. I'm a business. My job is to do what I do for a living and go home, take care of my family, wash, rinse, repeat. I don't have to get on a thread and help people if I don't want to. It's your God-given right. It's your American God-given right to do or not to do. I happen to enjoy helping people. I do not like helping spoiled brats who come across like wherever that gatekeeping question is. I just move on from that. I'm like, ill, gone. I'm out of here. All right, so I found that one. What is this one? Oh, crickets. That's what I'm gonna hit when dude, everybody's just gatekeeping. There's just no way. Vomit emoji. Oh my God. I need to go. Hold on. I need to do this. This I do need to do. That's my intro, my outro.
So, why does like everybody like older than like 30 gatekeep? Why? I don't get it. Like, I don't want to pay for seminars and school. I just want answers, man. Yeah.
I love this effect, man. I'm going to abuse this effect. I'm going to have to apologize now for in the future when I over abuse that darn effect and then you got the low one, you know?
Hey, man, I don't owe you shit. I can gatekeep. I can put a laser wall up. I can make this the upside down. You are nothing to me.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Okay, we're hitting the 32-minute mark. I'm getting out of here. I just want to catch you up. I'm going to work on a guest coming on here. My buddy Chuck, I'm trying to get him on. He with the WCA, the William Credo Agency. My buddy Chuck, he's with the Mixed Nuts band, but his agency also handles 5 or 6 bands. And he is highly, highly involved with this city and the entertainment and Mardi Gras coming up. So I would love for him to get on here and share his knowledge and his bulletins to kind of let you know, maybe you're thinking of coming down here to New Orleans. And, you know, we do have a lot of, balls and Mardi Gras balls and events and, some things you can buy a ticket to if you're not a member, some things you can't. But, just to kind of have that inside knowledge. And Chuck is a great guy. He's so knowledgeable. Like, he knows everyone. How many times did I say like today? I remember my sister used to do that when we were younger. Like, remember when the Valley Girl stuff was popular? Yeah. So anyway, you guys, let me find my outro so I can get you here. This is my band. I miss playing. My band, we call ourselves Ambush. We literally wrote down 2.5 pages of words that could possibly be our band. And it was right after the Super Bowl when the Saints won. I believe the onside kick that we did, I think it was called the Ambush. So of course we had that on the page, but we went through like 170. I forget how many we have written down. Literally the only one that made sense for us was Ambush, because the rock that we play, it surprises you because you see older guys and you don't imagine what we're playing, so we kind of ambush you that way. And it's also the head nod to New Orleans and our most successful Saints season ever. So it's just neat. It made sense. It's cool for us. We write all of our own music. We do not play covers. It's so cool to have 2 hours worth of our own custom written song. And every song is really neat. In fact, I'm gonna have the guys on. I'm trying to create some time where we can all get into a room and I can hit record, and we do kind of like a documentary style, just talk kind of thing. Because every song has moments. You start with the riff, you start with the sound. Somebody possibly has lyrics, maybe they don't, and it's so cool to remember that time when you were in my studio. The backdrop would roll up, all my drums would come on out, my business neighbors would be gone at a certain time, and then we crank it and play, and we would just sometimes it's a grind and sometimes it's holy cow, what do we just write? That was flipping amazing. We got to do it again real quick. And we throw the iPhone on the floor, hit record on the audio recording thingy, just so everybody would get a copy of it before we left, and you can listen to it up until the next practice the following week. It was usually every Wednesday. Man, I would be practicing harmonies. We would come back the following week. Danny, our bass player, who's incredible, him and Buddy, who's our singer, they got together like twice, and they came up with a chorus. They came up with a harmony piece, and I'm like, what? Like, what the hell? How do we come from last week to the song is halfway done? And then as we're playing, trying to get through the song, I may do a certain drum fill a certain way. I may have an idea and stop the band and say, hey, can we try this real quick? And what I love about these guys, we would always just try stuff. It's so beautiful to have 4 or 5 people together and you're just trying things, and it's okay to fail. It's okay to be off on your background singing. It's super cool when we pause and we help each other on our vocal range. None of us are like vocalists, but we all do have a range that we're good for. So we'll write the song in the chord progression of where we work. And that's why the songs work. And to me, it's just awesome. And I miss it. I love these guys to death. They are like my brothers. We don't get to hang out as much as we used to because we haven't had practice in a few years. Everybody's life just changes. Our bass player had a new baby, who's not a baby anymore. I forget how old he is now. It's life. But we recorded, and we recorded a few shows, and we were out live as well. And when I tell you, thank you, Jesus, we had these recordings. My kids know our music. They sing the backup too. I can constantly play back those memories of how we recorded the song. When did Buddy drop his beer and we all kind of laughed? Or he's, you take the bottle cap. He was drinking Coors. You take the bottle cap off the top. You put it on your thumb. You do that and it flings across the room. I could never make that happen. Buddy was good at it. He was halfway across the room and he would and then you'd hear it ting, hit my cymbal. We'd be playing the song and grooving, and when it wasn't his time to sing, he'd be like, bam, bam. He's popping me while I'm playing. I'm like, bro, come on. Oh my God, that's so cool. All right, you guys, I'm going to get us out of here. Have a great, fantastical week. More to come, more to come. This is The Visual Historian.